Again, things are ramping up in the ACC in terms of conference play, but you'd be a little surprised by who's sitting atop conference play right now. Clemson.
Just a little surprised.
Clemson, unbeaten in league play, followed by Miami at 4-1. Pittsburgh, who's coming to Cameron Indoor Stadium on Wednesday night to play Duke at 4-1. Meanwhile, you got your usual suspects, Virginia, North Carolina, and Duke at 3-2 in the league. I will say that I guess we can go in order of eyebrow raiser, right? The biggest eyebrow raiser for me is that Duke's offense continues to not function at a high level. I can praise Duke defensively all day, and they've got that identity. And I understand that you can win games by preventing teams from scoring more than you, but it's going to bite them in the ass like it almost did against Boston College. And I can credit Boston College for being a feistier team than some people wanted to say at the beginning of the year. But on the road, after they just got their ass handed to them by NC State, that's, what do you like to call those? Like a little breathe fire, come out, that kind of stuff. I mean, we know how things would have played out under Coach K.
Sure.
That was a little alarming for me against Boston College.
Listen, I'll say it, and our friend Nada will immediately tweet at me, but I don't want to be the bad guy here.
Yeah, well.
But you did a transition in order to preserve a recruiting class. And maybe I'm not being that fair to Dariq Whitehead and Derek Lively, but I just don't see it.
It's not there.
I just don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, Duke, you're about to get the speech. You need more better players.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it comes down to. You need more better players. NC State went out and got Jarkel Joyner. Look how that turned out.
It's paying off for them right now.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's paying off for them
Pretty good.
Now. NC State is still susceptible to some curious play down the stretch. I mean, they looked like they had things in control against Virginia Tech, and they decided, let's earn this ice cream on the road, shall
took
we?
care of the free throws.
He did.
That was fine.
He did.
All NC State's done is put themselves in position to be in position.
Mm-hmm.
You look at this game on Saturday against Miami. Miami's 5-1 this year in Q1 games.
Yeah.
Do you know who's getting in the NCAA tournament?
Miami.
A team with a 5-1 record in Q1 games.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is a Q1 game for Miami, but not State on Saturday. But this is more of, hey, this has an old school feel to me of, oh, we lost at your place. We kind of outplayed you for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And we'd like to do that again. We want to see you again. And you know what? Jim Larinaga is going to have that team ready because he always does. And so I'm really looking forward to this game Saturday. Early game on a Saturday. Big crowd, by the way, at the Smith Center on Saturday, like just as we predicted for that 11:30 game. We'll see what PNC Arena looks like on Saturday for an afternoon delight.
Well, I mean, if NC State seems to be bringing people back in because they're interesting again, then, yeah, it should be a pretty decent crowd. You mentioned the Tar Heels and the Fighting Irish on Saturday. Yeah, it was an 11:30 game. I was a little surprised by that. I'm also surprised by how badly things have fallen off for our guy, Mike Bray, at Notre Dame. These are stacked on stacked bad seasons for Notre Dame.
Well, last year they made the NCAA tournament. He had a rare one-and-done player. They tried again this year to build around kind of a one-and-done kind of guy. They're not the toughest team in the history of the world. They're a finesse team that relies on ball movement and their three-point shooting, and they're a little bit short in that category right now.
And with the Tar Heels, we're a broken record when it comes to the Tar Heels. When one of their big three guys is on, things are likely going to be on the winning end. Armando Bacot, 8. RJ Davis had a pretty decent game. Caleb Love got back on the right side of things. I mean, took a lot of shots, whatever, but he looked like Caleb Love again. And obviously teammates are going to be hyped up and fans are going to be hyped up because there was a little action, a little Donnie Brook there that Caleb Love did not take to, and he got into it. And the one development about the Tar Heels,
which I thought was good. You're standing up for his team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I absolutely love that. I loved seeing that.
It was a cheap play. Cormac Ryan kicking the Puff Johnson on his way up. But you don't need that in basketball, and that's what Caleb Love should have done. And shouts to our guy Clint Waltney for going over and making sure Caleb Love was just kind of fronting there. Like, hey, you don't need any more than that. We don't need any swings. Don't need any suspensions. Don't need any injuries. So I thought that worked out the way that it should have worked out.
So the one other development that I would add to the Tar Heels so far is that we're seeing more consistent minutes out of Seth Trimble. I know we've talked about this with the Tar Heels and depth. getting other guys involved. I forgot. I think it was from Daggum Box Scores. Chris, who runs that Twitter account, covers the Tar Heels, does a great job. Had put out what the Tar Heels, what they are in terms of bench minutes. They're one of the not worst. Saying worst is the wrong way to put it, but they're dead last in terms of using their bench.
Yeah, one of the tightest benches. Actually, the tightest bench.
It's the tightest bench. So it's good to see that Trimble is actually getting some time in there, because I think that's a positive development for the Tar Heels, as they're going to need more guys in these situations in the NCAA tournament. That was part of the reason why the NCAA tournament success for the Tar Heels was so eye-opening, is that they were fairly competitive against Duke and Kansas in the Final Four and the championship game when they actually had to go to their bench. That's why there was so much optimism about Puff Johnson.
I was going to say, and that's why I thought Johnson would have a bigger role this year. I know there's been some injury issues there, but you look at the minutes, Johnson and Trimble both more than 20 in the win over Notre Dame. I think that's going to help North Carolina in the long run. Ultimately, though, this team is going to go as far as their big three take them.